Alibaba down and down hard. Are the ADRs out of China listed in the United States? How investable are they?
I think look, Lisa hit it. I think Baba oversold here. I mean, look, there's going to be some fear factor, but when it comes to cloud, when it comes to who's going to be the winner in AI in China, I think names like Alibaba, those are names that you own here. I think Bar's going to be a little worse than the bite here. I think that's actually the best reaction that we're seeing in China in terms of some of these names.
There are two different things, though, Dan. The idea of buying in China if you are in mainland China versus buying the ADRs in the U.S. at a time where there is increasing focus on whether some of these companies should be raising money in the United States. Do you think that there will be an increasing divide between the depository receipts and what we see in mainland China or Hong Kong?
Well, I think there will be, just because the worry here in terms of, what could come out of Trump and the Beltway. And then I think the other focus is, even though we're hearing jitters and obviously going to NVIDIA tomorrow, I think more and more investors would rather own big tech. Obviously, there's regulatory risk, but that continues to be, I think, at the top of the mountain when it comes to AI revolution.
Dan, Evercore ISI put out a note saying the sell-off, what's going on in China, is more about sell first and ask questions later. Given this directive from the president is just that, a directive. It's a place of travel where they want to go. How much of this do you read as leverage for some sort of deal potentially Trump might want to do with Beijing?
Look, I was just in Hong Kong, over the last week. I do think that this is all a game of high-stakes poker to ultimately where you get to some sort of deal. Look, I think, given the movements, I get it, but I do think that you're going to get to maybe a lot better outcome here between U.S. and China. That's the thinking. I think, especially in Hong Kong and a lot of investors there, rather than maybe some of the onerous or draconian scenarios that you would have thought, going back to when Trump got elected.
How concerned are you, though, that there are conversations already underway between Trump administration officials when it comes to stricter export controls, similar to what we saw in the Biden administration, but actually even maybe a little bit sharper?
Look, it's all going to be this fine line. And just even think about things like TikTok, right? I mean, that's another chip on the table, just like China has chips as well with Tesla and FSD. Look, this is all going to be in negotiation. But I do believe that there's going to be this balancing act. I don't think this is going to, what I view as like draconianly impact chips, the supply chain, despite maybe some of the fears out there. And I think that's also why he talks to Jensen, talks to Cook, of course Musk, with the front row seat, in terms of this very tricky balancing act between acting tough but not ruining this, what continues to be, I think, the biggest tech transformation in the last 40 years.